We gonna kill every last one of you.
Hello everyone, welcome back. And today we're going to be doing yet another movie review. Yes, I know some of you guys might not like these, but I like these. They help me stimulate my creative urges till I feel ready to make another project, which there is one in the works, don't worry. Eventually it will be posted. For today, we are going to be reviewing a movie that came out again fairly recently, Sinners. And oh boy, do I have a lot to talk about this movie. I'll just get this out of the way. This movie's a 10 out of 10. And spoilers are ahead, so we are going to get started. I feel like with the plot of this movie, it kind of reminded me of like classic noir movies, where you start out with the main character and he enters in this criminal underground world with Michael B. Jordan's characters because he's playing two characters. I thought that was really interesting. Like the classic setup where you meet the characters and then you meet other characters like the love interest for one of Michael B. Jordan's characters who apparently had a fling for him, but he rejected her, pushed her to the wayside, essentially, even though she was in love with him, which is Haley Steinfeld's character, and Pastor Boy, as I will be referring to him in the review. He also has a sort of affair with a married woman. The whole setup of this movie, they're going to host this bootleg bar because it's in the 1930s and Prohibition is still very active. And they're going to set up this massive party and start business. The brothers had recently been kicked out of Chicago fairly recently. And the pastor boy wants to help out not only their family, but he also wants to help his career pick up. And his religious father is not a big fan of his music career because he's one of those classic Christians that believe music is of the devil. And before we get to the supernatural element, when I first saw the trailer, I thought it was something related to demons. I kind of figured it was vampires, but I wasn't sure. The way the movie's set up is very interesting. The way the movie opens is how the fact that music is so powerful, it can open up bridges to other dimensions, including the spirit world. It can bring bad things, which I'm not a musician, but I really like that angle a lot. I think it's very interesting, and it's an angle not really explored, so I can really appreciate it, which is one of my biggest compliments for this movie. Is I really like the soundtrack. I really love the music that they use, the blues and the kind of southern music that they also did when the vampires came out. These three vampires, two of them were former Ku Klux Klan members before being converted into vampires, try to storm into the bar, but yet they're kicked out. So what they do is they lure Haley Steinfeld's character into joining them. And when she refuses to join, much like classic vampire movies, one bite was enough to convert her into a vampire. And the movie essentially kicks off from there, and it's really, really fun. And it's really, really satisfying when it does. Because you see the vampires are trying to get in, the main characters are saying absolutely not. But eventually, for the climax, they let them in, and they kill the vampires in classic vampire fashion with stakes, garlic, silver bullets, which I think that one's a werewolf, but regardless. Almost all the characters die. And at the end, I really like the message of how the vampires trying to say, like, you can join us and live forever as immortals, which tends to be a very common trope with vampire movies as well as vampire folklore in general. And what does the pastor boy do? He bashes him over the head with the guitar, and then the daylight comes and almost all the vampires die out. And the pastor boy returns to the church, and he decides to confront his father then and there, and he decides to make a career out of music. And I really like that a lot, especially as artists. Having family members who aren't the most supportive, and then learning to kind of break out of that and to create your own path. And I really like that a lot as an artist. My only problem with the ending is the post-credit scenes, I think, should have been in the original movies and not at the end, because I thought it was a little bit more... I thought it would have been way more satisfying and from a narrative perspective made more sense because they were very long post-credit scenes. Now, I know possibly that there are other post-credit scenes which are longer, but my point is I think that they should have been in the original movie before. So on to the cinematography. The cinematography of this movie was really good. It wasn't disorienting. It stayed still and you knew what was going on It kind of reminded me slightly of Akira Kurosawa movies, especially with the blocking and the combat. So when the camera did move, it made a lot more sense for it to move instead of being incredibly disorienting and handheld like it is nowadays in most movies, which is a critique on modern action movies, I would say. But the action set pieces were amazing, especially that final fight with the vampires and the rest of the surviving crew. It was bloody, it was gory, it was gratuitous, uncensored violence, and I loved it. Like, especially with the music in the background and then build up beforehand, it made the violence in that movie far more satisfying than movies that have unnecessary blood and gore, like torture porn films. Now, this isn't to say Sinners is a torture porn film, because it's not. It totally is not, but it knows what the audience wants, especially because it's a vampire movie. It knows it, but it builds up to it, so it's very satisfying. The acting I thought was really good. The cinematography too was really good, I would say. If some of the parts of the movie felt like a music video, which I know that's the point, especially with the music part of it, which again, maybe a criticism for some, but I think it makes sense for this movie. It might turn some people off, but for me, it really is amazing. And the way that they edited Michael B. Jordan's characters, sort of in a David Fincher type of way, I thought was really interesting. I really liked that a lot. Instead of casting two different actors, they just used one actor for Michael B. Jordan's characters. And they distinguish the difference between the two of them with red and blue, which is a classic color symbolism. Kind of that duality, at least a little. I can't remember all the characters' names exactly, but one of the brothers is more about business, whereas one of them's a lot more lean back and a lot more fun. And he's a lot more lean back than his brother. It's a very interesting duality between the two characters, but I really like the story of the pastor boy. We see him at the beginning of the movie after the carnage happened, confronting his dad. And then we learn throughout the movie how he has somewhat low confidence, but he knows what he wants to do. He knows it, but he feels so trapped and confined that he can't do it, what his dreams are. And at the end, he pursues his dreams over the status quo, which is very good for that movie. I guess the chemistry which I found the most interesting was Haley Steinfeld's and one of Michael B. Jordan's characters. I really like the chemistry between the two of them, because you sense that they do want to be together, but yet their lives are two different avenues, especially from Haley Steinfeld's end, and she really does not like how Michael B. Jordan's character treated her. I also really like the acting of the vampire, the way how he socially engineers the characters to take his side, besides, of course, forcefully converting them into vampires. He has a very smooth, silver salesman-like tongue, which fits with the era, where he wants you to feel like you're welcomed and a part of a family, and when you try to back away, he takes that personally, almost like a manipulative person. This movie I would recommend to everybody, and in an era where original movies is really lacking and the trailers spoil everything, this movie does not go for that, and it gives you exactly what you want and even more. That's the thing. I was expecting this movie to be very good, but it over delivered, and that was amazing. I was really happy when I saw it. So definitely this is my movie of the year, for me. If you've seen this movie, what would you rate it? I rate it a 10 out of 10, but definitely let me know what you would rate it down in the comments down below, and I will see you soon.
I'll see you soon.